attack as they are still being evaluated. And with that, I'm happy to take some questions. Tara, do you want to start us off?
Yes, thank you. So we'll start with the strike.
Sure.
So this retaliatory strike seems to be the first since these hostilities began where there were people as targets instead of infrastructure or a weapons storage facility. Can you provide any details about why these specific militants were targeted?
So I wouldn't say that I was, well, let me take a step back. The militants were targeted because the AC-130 was able to determine the point of origin from where the close-range ballistic missile was being fired upon or fired to the base. So they were able to take action because they saw the militants. They were able to keep an eye on the movement of these militants as they moved into their vehicles, and that's why they were able to respond. I wouldn't say this is the first time we have responded. Again, we don't read out every single time that how a certain system or capability takes down a drone or rocket attack. We have had other cases where we have responded in retaliation when we were able to identify the point of origin. So it's not our first time, but it is just something that has been, of course, publicly reported, and so wanted to make sure that all the facts were out there.
So, okay, just to pull on that,
Sure.
I have one other topic. So you said it's not the first time that you've responded, but I think you've announced basically all these other strikes, and you've said it's been a weapons storage facility or training facility, and if people have been killed, it has been kind of because of the strike, not because they were being targeted specifically. So you're not saying that like these specific militants were targeted? Do you have any idea who these militants were?
We know that these are Iranian-backed militia members, but again, just to differentiate, we have taken 3 strikes in self-defense, but those were pre-planned. So just a little different here in terms of the nuance of how we're talking about this self-defense strike that we took. What was it? Early morning, I think, our time, Eastern time. We were able to identify the point of origin of these attacks because an AC-130 was up already in the area and therefore was able to respond. We do, of course, read out any retaliatory action or self-defense strikes that we take, but just want to sort of put these into separate buckets as we talk about them.
So this is the 4th time there's been a retaliatory strike.
Yes, but again, it wasn't planned. So there was an AC-130 up in the air that was able to identify the point of origin and was able to respond.
And then just separate topic, as these negotiations for hostage release continue, part of what has been negotiated is that there might be a pullback of any surveillance. Does this include U.S. surveillance systems with the U.S. pull back its drones?
Yeah, I think you saw the president speak to this earlier today, that while we are certainly heartened by the way the conversations are going, there's still not a deal reached until there is one. I'm just not going to get ahead of anything that we will or won't do when it comes to ISR or anything that we are doing when it comes to hostage recovery. We're assisting with that from the embassy, of course, but I just don't have more details and definitely don't want to get ahead of any deal that might happen.
But whether or not it's part of it, is that one of the options?
I'm just not going to get into further details on that.